So on this one, guys, there is a difference. Let's see what it is. It says a projectile is launched from a starting height of 4 feet, and it takes 3 seconds before it hits the ground. What's the initial vertical speed? So I'm going to get us started here. And I'm going to identify the fact that since we're talking about vertical, once again, we're starting off with this formula. And now we can go through and identify all of our givens, okay? It says it's launched from a starting height of 4 feet. Notice it says starting height, not just height. And then it says it takes 3 seconds. And then there's another keyword up here, which is what? It hits the ground. So I want you guys to take that information and I want you to plug the numbers in where they go. All right, so tonight, let's do it. Do I know the big H? It's 0, and how do you know that? It says on the ground. Next, we have T, which is what? It's 3, and how do you know that was the 3? It says seconds, right? And then we have V. You leave it as V, right? That's the thing that we don't know. That's what we're looking for, is the initial vertical speed. So that one's going to stay V. And then the T is still going to be 3, right? And tonight the H will be, the little h. Starting height. The little h is starting height. It's 4 because the directions say the starting height is 4 feet. So the little h is 4. All right. Now let's go ahead and work our way through it. From this point, the steps are pretty much the same. PEMDAS, solve. So exponents first. Negative 3 squared is 9. Multiply. Negative 144, I think. Combine your like terms, negative 144 and 4. It's negative 140. Notice that, okay, they're opposite signs, so what you would do is you would subtract them. And you take the sign of the bigger number, which is the, so it's negative 140. So those two came together to make negative 140. We have the 3v still. Now what? We're going to solve. So how do I solve first? What do? Add the 140 on both sides. And then we'll divide both sides by 3 and be done. So let's go ahead and do that. It might not go in there evenly. So we'll change it into a decimal here. 46.6? What are my units? Feet, seconds, or feet per second? It's feet per second because it's the speed. So that's how fast it was going. And that's how you write feet per second, by the way. So go ahead and write that. Feet, fraction bar, second. So that's how fast it's going. That means every second it's going 46.6 feet higher up. Now really, since it's under the effect of gravity, it gets slower and slower as it goes up. But that's your starting speed. All right. Okay, we're going to do one more example here, so go ahead and write down example 3. So, once again, we're seeing the keyword vertical anywhere? No. Huh. Well, that's Mr. Bailey's bad. I need to make sure that's on there, because on your test it will be. Because if I don't put vertical, then you're not sure. Are we using vertical or are we using horizontal? So, let's say initial vertical speed. So right there, is your indicator that you're going to use this guy. So that was my bad. That should have been in there. All right. Of 120 feet per second. So that right there, 120 feet per second. What is that? That's my vertical speed, v. It's pretty fast. From a starting height of 6 feet. Starting height of 6 feet. What letter is that? Starting height of 6 feet. Which h? The little h. Starting height is the little h. Next question. What is the height of the ball after 2 seconds? 2 seconds is what? That's our t. So what letter do we not have up here? The big H. We want to know what is its height after 2 seconds. So if I were to throw a ball up with a speed of 120 feet per second, just how high up would it be after 2 seconds had gone by? All right? So let's do it. We don't know big H. That's going to stay the same. We know the little t was 2. We know that v is 120. We know that t is 2. And the starting height is 6. And from here we just use order of operations. 2 squared Okay, I'm just going to go, when you're doing adding subtraction, it's a good idea just go left to right. So I'm going to do the first two numbers, negative 64 and 240. They're opposite signs, so we're going to subtract them. And you take the sign of the bigger number, which is positive 240. So it's a positive 176. And then you add these two. They're both the same sign, so you add them and keep the sign, which is 182. Now let me ask you this. What's the units? 182 what? Okay, so we know h represents its height, which in this case is not its starting height, but how high up in the air it is. So if we're talking about how high up it is, what's the units? Feet, seconds, or feet per second? It's feet. That's how high up in the air it is, 182 feet. So here's a couple for you guys. We already did number 2 earlier, but I'd like you guys to hit up 1 and 3 now.